So just a little bit about the team. So yeah, I'm CEO, and this is Thomas, the CTO. So we've been working on Shopstr for a little bit under a year, and we're like basically like a year out of college. So as soon as like we graduated college, we got our job, started working on it, and we just decided to like go full force with it. Thanks to like PlebLab and the top builder competition, we really like picked up development a lot, and we've like accomplished. We're proud of what we've accomplished in the whole year, especially with only me being the only one who's full time. Also, contributors have also been Eric Yan, who's helped us with like gathering metrics for like the data collection on the site, as well as. Wellington, who was a Summer of Bitcoin participant, who's helped us like integrate some new upcoming features that'll show up later on. So yeah, so just to like lay the backdrop of like exactly where we are, where it comes to marketplaces. So obviously, whenever getting set up, we have a very permissioned identity, which leads to silos. So obviously, like whenever you get set up on Amazon, you can't port over that information to eBay very seamlessly. You can't port it over to Facebook Marketplace. All that data is just trapped and stuck in those platforms, which obviously makes it very hard if you want to like start selling these things, just like a book or just something very simple. You have to get set up on so many platforms, pay for all their services, pay all the fees that they charge you, and like you don't really have a good user experience with that. Obviously, we have KYC hell. Like you have to sell your soul just to be able to list the book on Amazon. You have to give them all your bank account information, like your phone number, all these things that just like dox all your information. They're holding all this data captive, and you're just stuck. And it's just a big risk that we pose by having all that information captured by single corporations. Obviously, like with like these type of platforms, like the inflated focus. What I mean by that is essentially that these platforms are more focused on capturing the entire world, more so than like tailoring an experience towards local communities or like local businesses, small businesses. They just want to make sure they have the best possible way of dominating the market and have no care how they do that, which obviously leads to basically causing users to maximize transaction volume at the user's expense. Like all they want is as much transactions as possible, even if the products that people are buying aren't actually valuable to them. If if any of the activity they're doing, as long as they can take a cut, that's what they want. And with these platforms, there's not really much of a focus on like a meat space, meaning like Facebook Marketplace is probably the best example of a meat space marketplace because you can meet up in person to verify and sell things, but like they're not really tailored in that direction. Like they don't focus on actually bringing people together, building a community around like a farmer's market, for example. That's one of the best examples of an actual meat space market. So one thing. Oh, it's this one actually. Sure, there we go. Yeah, so just to like broaden like the marketplace comparison a bit more. So you see that like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, they're relatively easy to access because you just like create a simple account, list an item, and it's just there. It's ready to be found. But obviously it's not decentralized because Facebook and Craigslist, they can just take down all your listings. You have no control over like what you can list. Like they censor like as much as they can, especially if it's like even if it's like illegal in a specific jurisdiction, but it's legal elsewhere, like they'll take it down. eBay and Amazon fall under a little bit harder to access, obviously because all the KYC requirements. They require a lot of information just to get started listing. And like some people, especially smaller merchants in like communities like Mexico, they just don't have the banking infrastructure to even get set up and to distribute their products online. Same thing goes with eBay. Requires a lot of information, and both of them are obviously not decentralized at all. Then there's BTC Pay Server, which is like a very good solution. It basically allows you to set up your own node. You have full control over your funds, over your marketplace, but there's no product discoverability. Essentially, in order to be able to sell your items, you have to like market on your own, and like it's just kind of hard to discover your listings unless someone already knows you and is sharing the content for you. And like we're trying to get somewhere in the target of like easy to access and decentralized. So Nostr, which if you aren't familiar, is essentially, I like to think of it as a decentralized publishing protocol and not necessarily a social media protocol. This is one way to make it easy to access and get onboarded onto these types of services. So essentially, Nostr provides you permissionless identity, so you have full control of your data. You can migrate to any other clients. So say there's like for example, the social media clients. There's Damus, Amethyst, Primal, so on and so forth. If you have an account on Damus, that automatically is in Primal, it's automatically in Amethyst, it's everywhere. So like you can easily switch over platforms if you don't like certain features that they're doing, certain things they're doing. And it makes it very easy to actually create a new identity. So like one thing that is probably an issue for a lot of people, is especially if they're selling like, say you're selling not memorabilia, say you're selling like stuff for protest merch or stuff like that, just to raise funds, you might not necessarily want to dox your identity. And and if you're getting set up on like Amazon or eBay or these platforms, and you want to sell a lot of items, it makes it very hard to not be to be anonymous completely. So with Nostr, you can actually just very seamlessly create a new NPub. You have a new identity, and you can list items. Everything exists, and people can just automatically start buying and selling with you. One thing that Nostr provides is also a local first model, and which ties into the Bootstrap network. So it's because of the social media aspect of Nostr, you have a network effect that's already existing because of all the people that are already engaging on Nostr on the social media side, and that it makes it very easy. So once you, for example, with Shopstr, we had nobody, initially when we launched the site, we had nobody working with it. But once we started getting more traction and being shown more on the Nostr network, and Amethyst integrated our listings, it made it very easy for people to just discover products in their social feed without even worrying, and they would actually be interacting with Shopstr without even realizing that they were. And that's one of the things that comes into interoperability. Whenever you're working with Nostr, it actually makes it very, very, very easy to essentially give your product some initial validation, because when you can create a client, and automatically the data just exists for you. You can just pull it all in, it's displayed, and it seems as if it's very active. So it kind of allows you to bootstrap that initial network of trust to make sure that people are seeing okay, this is actually getting used, people are doing things on this, and it's a really a cool new technology that's been developing and being built out a lot. And one thing that another thing that Shopstr integrates is eCash, and it's one of the most exciting technologies in my opinion, because one, it provides for frictionless onboarding. One of the things with eCash is that you can essentially send someone Bitcoin using a string of text. It's a long string of text, so it can be a little daunting for some people, especially now. But more and more clients are making it a little bit easier and kind of abstracting the complexity of the string to make it seem as if it's a little button that just has 21 sats on it. You could even show the US dollar value, and people don't even know they're interacting with Bitcoin. And you can just literally text someone a text of string, and they have Bitcoin that they can spend and they can use and send to other people. It's it's an incredible way to onboard people, especially who aren't very used to the Bitcoin UX, and it's a good way to it's a good stepping stone to getting them into the self-custodial aspect of Bitcoin. And yeah, there's a new thing that's been released by Pablo, who's a big prominent developer in the Nostr space, which is a NIP60. It's essentially a cash wallet. So one thing is obviously that can be a little daunting for people is backing up their private keys and making sure that all this stuff is actually secure. So with NIP60, it's a Nostr native cash wallet. So your wallet is actually distributed amongst relays. So automatically, as soon as you're onboarded, your wallet's backed up for you. And even if you lose access to the wallet on a specific app, it's actually accessible in another instance of it, and it could actually be it's actually easy to access across multiple different apps. So for example, Shopstr has it integrated, so and Pablo has an app called Nutsack, and with Nutsack, as soon as you set up a wallet there, you can actually just sign into Shopstr and you just have money there and you're just ready to spend, and it's easy to do. And one thing with eCash I feel is that Callie once said this, was the creator of eCash, is basically the target demographic of eCash is grandmas selling mangoes on the side of the street. They want to make it as easy as possible for the grandmas to just receive Bitcoin without needing to actually have all the knowledge of how to use Bitcoin, how to interact with it, all the complexity of it. Because cash is just simply a string of text that you can send around and pay people with. It makes it very, very easy for them to get onboarded. And this is one of the, and Alex Gleason has actually mentioned this as well. He said that the true marker of success is whenever your grandma starts using your product. So this is one way of making it very, very easy to actually get onboarded. Let's see. So Shopstr essentially integrates both of these technologies to make it easy and set you free whenever transacting online. So you have a simple setup whenever you get on the site. You simply click a button, you have an account, and you're ready to go. You can set up your profile, do all these other things, set up a shop. It's Bitcoin only, so obviously we're focused on spreading the use of Bitcoin and this decentralized money, not propagating the use of other altcoins and other cryptocurrencies, because Bitcoin is the one that actually has a chance of upending the system and making things, actually making things better. Through the use of Nostr, we also get a sovereign digital identity. So say Shopstr starts, for example, we start restricting the listing of drugs, right? Because Nostr is a decentralized protocol, you can list anything you want. So if we just decide, oh, you know what, we're going to start censoring any drugs, we're going to start censoring books on communism, whatever. If you don't like that, you could just simply take your Nostr account, sign into another client that's using plebeian market, for example. sign into their client, and boom, like you have all your products, all your listings are there, and you're just like nothing happened to you. Like none of your listings got censored. No one can like stop the payment flow, and you're good to go. And obviously with eCash, another like very cool thing about it is that it's like completely anonymous. It's almost better than like coin joining. It's like the perfect privacy solution you could possibly have. And it's like Lightning interoperable, so like it's very easy to just swap in and out. With a click of a button, you can easily redeem the Lightning. You can easily redeem the eCash for a Lightning payment and not have to worry too much about like actually holding the eCash token itself. And one caveat, obviously, eCash is a custodial solution, so it's definitely something to consider, especially whenever like you're onboarding new people. You have to make the trade-off a little bit known in order for people to actually like be comfortable using it. But it is a very nice thing. Right, yeah, and for on the Shopstr side, so like since launch, we've had over 5 million sats in total sales volume. And actually earlier this year, like at the startup day, at the top builder competition, we actually only had 1 million sats in transaction volume, so we 5x in like a few months, which has been really great. Yeah. And we've had over 750 listings made with 650 unique Nostr accounts signed in, and like the pace has been picking up a lot, and like especially with new features we're releasing, it's becoming a lot easier to get onboarded and start listing and selling. So one thing, especially in the Nostr space, that is really important is sustainability, and marketplaces I think are just the natural like. They're the natural next step when it comes to actually developing clients that are actually sustainable on their own without having to receive funding. So obviously you can collect fees on sales of transactions. Like Shopstr, for example, we don't enforce a fee, but we actually give the user the option to donate the transaction fee that they like would otherwise pay. Like normally, they have the option to donate or to keep it themselves. And then you could have like featured listings, like essentially ads. Like the users could pay to get their listing featured on the homepage, and then you could even like have like ad distribution payments. So like users could, if they interact with an ad, you can actually distribute a few sats to them for interacting with it. So like adds interesting new models you can potentially implement. Pay per listing, so that's like essentially like Craigslist. They charge you for like listing apartments, houses, stuff like that. Like you can charge a fee just to like list a specific item. You can get niche modes. Like for example, you could have Shopstr could be focused specifically on getting Shopify-like stores implemented. PlebLab Market could be focused on making it just easy to have discoverability on your products. There's a lot of different things you can implement when it comes to marketplaces, like including prediction markets, like Polymarket, for example. That's a crypto one, so like let's not talk about that one. But like prediction markets, especially like with Bitcoin, like it makes it very easy to collect fees, because there's a lot of degenerates in the space, even in Bitcoin. So like it's a very good way to like actually pick up like economic activity on it. And then marketplaces also encourage circular economies. One thing that like we're focused on with Shopstr is to actually make it easy for local communities to get set up and like just be able to start transacting amongst their peers very, very easily, and actually start using Bitcoin in a seamless way. Like circular economies are probably the most important thing that we can be building in this space, because otherwise we're just going to be building within like the existing legacy system, and we got to have like the parallel economies like working within it. Reputation is one thing that's actually going to be coming soon to Shopstr, so we're hoping to get reviews and orders done by like within the next like month or so. And it's one of the most important things to consider with Nostr, especially now. If you're on Nostr, you've been noticing all the spam that's been like being propagated on the protocol, and reputation now has been like the main focus of a lot of client developers. So, and you can actually have different ways of signaling reputation. So like social signaling is one form. So you essentially like, and this kind of helps solve like if I'm a new merchant and I have no one knows who I am and I can't share my products easily. If I join a group that's like specifically pertaining to eggs, then and if I got accepted into that group on Nostr, then you could very easily show like, okay, they're part of this egg group, so probably they actually have good quality eggs and like people are willing to purchase them. And then obviously reviews, normal reviews. And one thing that's great with reviews is that since Nostr is interoperable completely, the reviews will carry across every platform. So you don't have to like completely restart your identity. Like on Amazon, you have your Amazon reviews. On eBay, you have your eBay reviews. You can just simply have all your reputation already built up for you. And then there's value for value. Like marketplaces are the initial form of value for value. You literally pay someone to give them value, something that you find valuable. So just having actual proof of transaction volume and like people actually buying your things is obviously a good reputation signal. Localization. So one thing that we're focused on with Shopstr is just trying to make it, as I mentioned, trying to make it easy for local communities to start getting onboarded. And if you are in a community and you're using this specific app, then and you're interacting with, like, say, a farmer's market, that's probably like the target demo that we're trying to focus on for this specific thing. Like, when you're in a farmer's market, in like the physical space, you actually interact with all the people that are doing this thing, that are using Bitcoin, spending Bitcoin. And if you're selling items yourself, like, obviously you're gaining a reputation. It's a more like foundational reputation because you have an actual backing behind it. And then loyalty. With Nostr's portable identity, you can actually develop a brand loyalty to yourself, to your personal identity, rather than like focusing on Amazon. Because like whenever you go to Amazon, there are sellers, there's individual sellers on there. But when you go on there, you're not thinking like, oh, I'm going to buy from some random person that I know, or like some specific merchant. I'm buying from Amazon. Like, you don't care at all who is actually selling you the item. You just want to get the item. So like, this allows you to build a little bit more of a reputation like that. And yeah, marketplaces I think are just very important in general, and like more specifically towards Nostr, because one, the incentives behind them, they allow you to actually generate revenue naturally, and you don't have to worry too much about like social clients, in my opinion, are like an initial fad that are going to eventually die out. Obviously, everyone loves social media and like it's very engaging, but a lot of the clients are going to die out just because there's not really a good sustainable model for a lot of the social media specific things, unless like you're focusing on Zaps, which are like the micropayments over Nostr. Things like that are actually are just a focus on economic incentives. I think is the most important thing, and that marketplaces are like the most obvious that do that. It can lead to more accelerated adoption, specifically because people like seeing economic activity as validation. Like whenever you're actually receiving money and earning things, that's whenever people are like, okay, yeah, like I actually want to stay on here. Like a lot of people on Nostr, they leave, especially if they're getting on board and don't know what a Lightning address is, they don't know what a Lightning wallet is, they don't know all these things about using Bitcoin on Nostr. With marketplaces in particular, you receive money directly, and then with like Zaps, like Primal does a really good thing with it because they have an integrated wallet built into their client. You automatically receive money, and like when people see that, like that flow of money going throughout the protocol, then they're like, okay, this is actually really interesting. I can earn a penny just for simply like shit posting or saying something, like saying some meme. Like it's a very like niche and innovative way of like keeping people on the protocol. And then, in my opinion, having marketplaces is the most important thing for essentially getting access to Bitcoin, because as we're seeing now, like there's an attack on privacy in Bitcoin, and like who knows when Coinbase is going to get shut down, like when the 6102 attack comes that the US government claims all this money, like eventually the on-ramps will be shut down, and like it's going to be very, very hard to get on board onto Bitcoin using your fiat. So the best way is to actually like sell your services and make it easy to earn Bitcoin by doing the thing you love, making candles, making soap, washing someone's car, making it very easy to earn Bitcoin by doing these things. And like earn ramps are much, much more important than on ramps. And like this ties into this quote that I heard in Prague by Anita Posch. She said, parallel Nepalis or bust. So essentially, parallel Nepalis is a parallel society. And we Bitcoiners have to be focused on actually developing the community that's parallel to the legacy system. Like, yes, it's great to integrate into the legacy system, because if we can upend and like build, essentially act as a virus from within, we can actually like change things on like at a grander scale. But when we start building these parallel economies, without them, we won't even be able to, like, if Bitcoin gets attacked legally and like there's all these other like privacy attacks that are happening, like it'll be very, very, very hard for us to actually build out and see the future that we want to see. And like focusing on the parallel economies and making sure that we have a strong community that is actually using Bitcoin, that is outside of the KYC system, that they're focused on like making sure that everyone just knows each other personally, is not interacting with these like these gargantuan corporations that just like have all our data. Like it's one of the most important things that we can do as Bitcoiners. So yeah, now I can go into a little bit of a demo and show off the site a bit. Let's see if I can expand that. All right, cool. Yeah, so this is Shopstr. So yeah, as you can see here, there's like just a bunch of like random listings at the moment. This is essentially like the closest comparison would be like Facebook Marketplace at the moment. We just have like a global feed of a bunch of products and listings that you can just like interact with and purchase. So like, see, you have like this Google Pixel. It takes you to the product page. You can just like view all the products that are listed. You see all the items here. Expand. And like whenever you list an item, we actually support like 160 something currencies. So you can list it in whatever currency you want, and sats obviously if that's your standard. And yeah, you can just very easily just check out and pay like that. So let's see here. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll just show you like the payment page. So yeah, whenever you like buy, it gives you like a summary of like exactly how much you're purchasing. You can pay with Lightning or Cashew. So the Cashew, you have to be signed in and you have to have a wallet. Like you have to have balance on your wallet in order to be able to pay. But once you click on pay, you can either do an in-person order. So like that just takes you to the Lightning invoice, as you can see here. It just generates the Lightning invoice for you. You pay it, and like the transaction goes through, and it gets sent as like a Cashew token DM. And I can show an example of that in a moment. But if you were to sign in with, or if you were to pay like just like an online order, it takes you to like the contact form. This is like if there's no shipping involved, if it's only for pickup. You can also like input your contact information, and then like you just pay the invoice like that as well. And let's see. Yeah, and then you can go to like the messages feed. This like basically has orders and inquiries. The orders are all the payment messages that you'll see. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, so essentially in the order page, you'll see whenever someone pays for an item, you'll see a text message saying that so-and-so has purchased your item, and then there'll be a Cashew token payment loaded in there. See, it's been a while since I sold something with my Shopstr account, so let's see if I can find the actual order. Otherwise, I'll move on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this is an example. So yeah, it tells you like how to finalize your order details, and then it has the Satoshi amount of the Cashew token payment that you have, and you just like very simply claim it and redeem it, and you can actually go on your wallet. So yeah, here these 10 sats, as you see, there's no transaction history here because I actually got these 10 sats on a separate wallet on a different computer. So like now it's actually carried over to my balance here. So here, simply it's just a Cashew wallet. You can receive Cashew tokens, send them, create new ones by minting an invoice, and also pay out to a Lightning invoice. And yeah, under my listings, this is something we just recently launched. So you can now actually customize your shop feed. So you can add like a new banner image, a new icon logo, and a name, and then it just like displays all your products and categories there. And I can actually, let me see, I'll sign out. It looks rather similar whenever you're not actually signed in, but let's see if I can find my item a little more. All right, yeah, here. So yeah, so you like visit the store. Oh, that's just took me to the item. All right, yeah, you visit the seller, and then it just it should load the information. Oh, okay. Yeah, it seems like the internet lagged out a little bit, but yeah. So this is basically what Shopstr is, and then if you go to metrics, you can actually see the like global stats of the site, and some of them are. It's a little bit out of date because we started like not too long ago. And some transactions have also been done out of band, so not using Shopstr's like checkout flow. So you can see here like all the activity that's been happening on the site since like since January 1st. I think we launched like the metric collection around February, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then you can also just like edit profile, edit your shop settings. Like you can see here you can edit all these things. Yeah, and we also are coming out with a integrated liquid wallet, so you'll actually be able to like have like a self-custodial liquid wallet. This is an example of that. Let me turn off the music. Yeah, so that's your recovery phrase. You can like see here like you can like change view your balance, and then we also integrated bolts.exchange, so you'll be able to very easily swap your liquid Bitcoin that's stored on the wallet for Lightning or on-chain Bitcoin. There's a small, I think it's a 0.5% fee that Bolts takes for the actual swap. But yeah, that's essentially what like one of the new things that we're coming out with. It should be ready within like the next month or so. Like we're just working on you'll basically have like two separate balances. You'll have a Cashew balance that'll be like for easy onboarding, smaller amounts. And once you reach a limit that you're comfortable with, it'll swap over into the liquid wallet, and you can very easily redeem it for on-chain Bitcoin and be non-custodial. But yeah, that's essentially that's the presentation. If you want to reach out, you can email me at shopstr@shopstr.store. And big thanks to OpenSats because they're supporting me in working on this. Also, big thanks to Sovereign Engineering in Madeira. They've been very helpful in like getting a lot of ideas and like building new things out. I'm very excited for the coming months because there's a lot of stuff planned in the pipeline. But it's mainly me working full time. It's going to take some time, but it'll get there. And then obviously big thanks to PlebLab for like allowing me to be here and like supporting me through like Top Builder. It's been a great experience since then. Yeah, thank you.